Hello, I've got Cee M with me today, and Cee M is a fitness and meditation coach, and I'm very excited to have her on the show all the way from the States, which is always exciting. And hello, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hi, thanks for having me. I have a business that I just started actually during the pandemic. I've been a fitness trainer for years, kind of in and out of the wellness realm. I have a day job and I teach bar classes at a local studio. And when we moved to online training, I had a lot of people wanting a more lifestyle based training than just classes. So I kind of took what I know, which is meditation, mindfulness living, and plant-based eating, and just kind of wellness lifestyle in general that I've been practicing kind of on my own, fitness, and combined it all into one thing. So I created a business called Mindful You Fitness. And I do online training program. I have a great little app. Everybody just kind of logs in, does the workouts. There's meditations with each and every workout. Rest days always have meditation. So it's just kind of more of a mindful way of moving your body and incorporating mindful living into your fitness to really get more out of it.
Absolutely. And one of the things that really struck me when I did my research into was that you've been involved in practicing meditation for nearly 20 years. Is that right?
Yeah, I think I started meditating when I was in high school, which is telling you how old I am. But it's kind of before it was super popular. I actually meditated through my second son's birth. So I'm a true believer because I was able to literally give birth and be fully present and no pain, and really just kind of sold me on it, even though I was 10 years into it. So
Yeah, and I mean, that's the first time I've heard something that powerful. I mean,
yeah.
I already know the power of meditation. I think most people, particularly during this year, have definitely converted. I don't want to say converted, but have it is convert to it, because it's basically, there is no other way, in my opinion. I think mindfulness is so important,
Mm-hmm.
um, so important to be present. Do you think that you've seen a rise in people turning to meditation because of obviously the inevitable what's going on right now?
Yeah, so many more people. I was just starting to incorporate a little mindfulness and a little kind of wind down to some of my workouts that I was teaching online. And so many people expressed interest in it, like, hey, was that meditation we did? And it was kind of more of just a relaxation methods and things, more of like a body scan, which I do a lot of just for mind body connection. I think it helps people really identify where their bodies are in space and how your body responds to what you're consuming, how you feel, response to stress, response to exercise, whatever movement you do. So I think that mind body connection is so important. And so many people have expressed interest in it that finally I said, okay, well, I'll start recording some things and putting them online for everybody.
Fortunately for me, I was online anyway for a couple of years prior to the pandemic, so it was quite easy transition. But I'm watching all these people come over to my world online, and it was really nice to see, actually, and it allowed me to coach a lot of people to do it. But back to the meditation. So I got myself up at about 7 o'clock, but it started at half seven, so it was live. It was a live Zoom meditation,
Mm-hmm.
and I did that every day for the entire, well, I'll be honest, I slipped off a little bit towards the end, but for the first couple of months, I was on it, and a friend of mine was as well, and it was amazing. Not only did it give me purpose to get up, which I know a lot of people struggled with, because if they was not at work, if they was, just the whole life had been changed. So this gave me purpose, but wow, what a way I was looking at the world in what should be the worst time period in history. I was just focusing on myself. And you mentioned before about body scans. I find that so, body scanning is impressive. Like, I've just been using the Calm app mainly for body scans. But if you just lie there and you'll talk through it, and it'll be like, now focus your attention on your big toe. And it's like, I didn't even know the feeling was there with my big toe before, but now I can feel it. So
Yeah, it really makes a huge difference in the mindset too, just especially to start the day. I know a lot of people kind of have a tight schedule. They have to get up and out the door, but I do like to start the day with it. I have little kids, so I have to get up early, but I get up just a few minutes before them and generally do like a body scan or just a few moments of breath. And it just really sets the day and really to get in that gratitude for the day. And especially in the middle of the pandemic when people didn't have anywhere to go, you know, you can be, if you're by yourself all day, you could just feel really lonely and disconnected. So Zoom was a great way to do it. And I know a lot of people felt that connection, even though it was virtual at this point. And then some other people, maybe they just are piled up on top of each other because the kids aren't in school and there's too many people in the house and everybody's trying to work from home. So that few minutes to yourself was excellent too.
I don't know how bad the situation goes on your side of the water, but obviously you only have to look at the news to know that over here in the UK it's dreadful, particularly the way that it's been handled. So there was a lot more lockdowns than what we originally wanted. I think we're borderline approaching our third national lockdown, which I think is inevitable at this
Yeah.
point. So I liked this idea that I think the second lockdown hit people harder than the first, particularly in this country. And I think one, because the weather was a bit nicer, it was exciting in a way. Yeah, there's a virus, but whoa, look at all this time you have now, and you can get paid for being at home. And the second time round, like before Christmas, our November lockdown, from my experience and working with clients, it really hit people and myself included. I was rubbing my hands together, going, "Oh, great! You know, Christmas is coming up. I'll get a nice annual leave for a couple of weeks," and it was hell. And I completely lost track of my meditation. My fitness kind of fell. Apart from the Zoom workouts that I had to do for my clients, my own fitness fell short. So where I'm getting with that is there certain times where we should be meditating more or doing certain types of things, or is this a year long thing that we need to teach ourselves in order to get to the point where you was at, where you can give birth and not feel any pain?
Yeah, I think it is building a daily practice, and when you have extra time, maybe you get in an extra meditation in the afternoon if you are on that lockdown, or in times of stress if you kind of need to come back to that a little bit extra. That's great. You know, even just something like you have a big meeting, you just need a few moments of breath before you enter the building in your car. But on a daily basis, just building that habit, and you never really get out of the habit. And there are days where everybody misses it, you know, if you just kind of forget or whatever the schedule allows, or you're traveling or something. But those few moments to yourself, even if you can't get in a full 5, 10, 20-minute meditation, just a few extra moments. I like to say, like, before I get out of my car, if I'm very busy and I'm running errands, for instance, at Christmas time, everybody's running around, right? I kind of just a few deep breaths, inhale, exhale, just 5 or 6 deep breaths, and then go about your day. And even if it's not a full meditation, just a few mindful minutes, but building that habit daily and then coming back to it in times of greater need and stress, such as like the lockdown. And it was, I mean, the lockdown situation was a good time to focus on ourselves, but not everybody had that luxury. You know, we had a lot of our things were closed here in the States, but many things were open. The grocery stores were open, the gas stations stayed open. So a lot of people had to work, and they were working extra to cover the other people that weren't able to work. So I understand those people probably had a much tougher time, and it's a greater time of stress. So that when we come back to that practice at any time, even if it's just for a few moments, it is helpful.
And you were saying before about just taking a couple of minutes, because I think a common question about meditation is, like anything, it needs to be practice, it needs to become a habit. You don't just walk into a gym and start deadlifting in immaculate form. But unless you're a toddler and you haven't developed any poor habits, on a physiology point, but you don't just walk into a gym and just pick up the heaviest weights or be able to do a pull up straight away, right? The same's got to be said for meditation, okay? Surely. I mean, I don't know how people can sometimes meditate for like 20 minutes. And I struggle sometimes, not because I don't want to do it, but because of my mind. I've really struggled to just turn my mind off. Particularly, someone who runs a business, as you know, you've got so many things going on. I struggle to get past a couple of minutes sometimes. So do you think is there a set time that you would be optimal? You know, you see these apps say 10 minutes. What if you can't do 10 minutes? Is there a way that you suggest easing into meditation if you're just getting started?
Absolutely. I like to start clients on 3 minutes, which is so doable because 3 minutes really won't make or break your day as far as like busyness, but 3 minutes could really change your day with meditation. So, starting with 3 minutes, if you can't find yourself a quiet place to sit, sometimes your car is a great place to start just because it's kind of isolated. Maybe even in your parking lot of your apartment building or whatever. Um, and sometimes I just do, like, I tell clients if they have little kids, just go in your bathroom, lock the door. It doesn't need to be glamorous. You don't need to have like beautiful Buddha statues and water fountains. Maybe light a candle if you feel like that makes it cozy. Just wrap yourself in a blanket, do it from bed, wherever you can. And starting at 3 minutes and then trying every day. And if every day doesn't work, try every other day. It's whatever works for you. Because if you try for 20 minutes right from the get-go, you might not stick with it and then it won't work at all. So starting with 3 minutes and the following week do 4 minutes. And, I know people are crazy about New Year's resolutions and starting, day one. I am not a Monday starter. I'm like, I'm going to start that today. So that's kind of my always. So start it today, start it before the new year. And then by, the third week of January, shoot for 5 minutes. And again, it doesn't have to be every day. If it's just not doable, it's not doable. Try for every other day. And I know my family lives and dies by the digital calendar that we have. So schedule it in. It seems crazy. Like I have to schedule my mindfulness meditation, but if that's what gets it done, that's what gets it done. And then once it becomes a habit, once the people around you understand that it's an important part of your day, then you're set. Then it starts to just kind of become a habit. And then it's something you can't not do every day.
You mentioned about the bath before. So I get a lot of stick. I'm not bothered, but I get a lot of stick because I'll have candlelit baths, right? I'll put the bubble bath or bath soak, whatever you want to call it. I will load that up. I will get the candles, or I have scented candles that I got bought for Christmas. I don't care because for me, I said to you before that I struggled. If I try and meditate last thing at night, I've got things for the next day in my head. It's not going to happen. If I try and meditate in the morning, I do have a little more success, but then I'm half asleep. So, and then by the time I've had my first coffee, I'm back planning in my day. Or I'm trying to meditate, but I'm itching to go to my diary, or I'm itching to check my emails, or stuff like that. So I tend to find my best time is out in the bath. I won't necessarily have guided meditation anymore, but I will, monitor my breathing. I will just relax. I might put some noise on in the background, and I'll get a lot of stick from some of my clients for it, or my gym members here, like, oh, but I'm not bothered because to me, if that's my form of meditation, then absolutely, that's
absolutely. You have to find what works for you, and that's the thing too. If just sitting and you don't want a timer, you don't want to bother with that, just sit, and get as much time as you can. If you're more of an anxious person and you feel like you have stuff to get to, just set a timer. And there's a million apps out there, but even just your phone timer is fine. You don't even have to download anything. And just know that you don't have to do anything. Tell yourself I have nothing to do until that timer's done, except just kind of sit with myself, sit here, sit with my breathing. Thoughts will come up. Your mind finally has your attention. You've sat down, you've sat still. So your mind's going to say, okay, we need to talk about this and this and this. But just all you do is tell yourself, and this is a very common meditation practice, particularly for people new to it. You just say, I'm thinking, you acknowledge the thought. You don't judge it and say, oh no, I'm bad at meditating. Oh, that's bad. Let's not talk about this in my head. Just say, I'm thinking, and then let it go. Sometimes people say visualize like you're placing your thoughts in the water of a stream and it goes, and it's just, or clouds in the sky, and they just come and go, and they will come and go. And people that meditate literally for a living will not have days. They'll have days where they can't even sit still. Maybe they have to move around a little bit, and that's okay too. You never have to sit totally still. I went to a meditation retreat years ago, and I think I was the youngest person by 20 years there. and everybody was sitting on these cushions, and it was 45 minutes. And I was like, 45 minutes, I got this, and I was super competitive. I was a marathoner at the time, but I had tight hips because I was a marathoner, right? And, I was like super athlete at the time. And I was sitting and I'm like, how are all these people? It was 3 minutes in and I'm like, oh my God, my hips, my back, my arm, I'm fidgeting. And then I was thinking, I'm so bad at this. I'm looking around, why is everyone else so good at this? Not a competition, right? Like there's no wrong way to meditate. It's whatever works for you. If that's sitting in a chair and rolling your shoulders back and just observing the breath, that's your moving meditation. If it's taking a walk in the woods and just checking out nature, that's your moving meditation. It's usually silent, doesn't have to be, and just time by yourself. So it doesn't have to be this formal sitting in a lotus pose on a cushion somewhere, or chanting or something. It's whatever works for you.
And I think that's what people automatically assume. That's what puts them off meditation. They have this idea that it's all, sitting in a sukhasana position and humming, chanting, and it really isn't. It's like you say, it's just time, especially mindfulness. It's just, so many people are not consciously aware of their thoughts. I've just received for my birthday, actually, which is a couple of days before Christmas, Sagittarius, and
happy birthday.
Right, thank you. I turned the big 3-0, so I don't know how happy it is just yet. We'll see. But I got the new Secret book. Now, I read The Secret, probably about 10, 15 years ago. And some of it I liked. I prefer more into the psychology of positive thinking as opposed to, asking the universe. The law of attraction for me is a funny one, but I think in terms of sort of the message about what you were saying before, aware of your thoughts, this recent one that come out, which is The Greatest Secret. I don't know what people's thoughts are on it, but what I will say is the first sort of thing I took from the first couple of chapters was what Rhonda Byrne's suggestion of the greatest secret that's hidden in plain sight is awareness. And it's this idea that you are not your body or even your mind, because your mind is actually, stems from an organ of the brain, but your mind is just thoughts. But the awareness, or I suppose another term for it is consciousness, is the real you. And I found it quite interesting because by reading that, by trying to take that message, and I take everything with a pinch of salt, I like to learn, but I like to challenge ideologies too. But one thing I liked about that idea is like, when you take that into consideration, that you are your consciousness, your thoughts are just there, they're programmed, but you can just shut that off a little bit and concentrate on you. So I just thought that was something a little bit similar. It was probably something completely different to what you just said, but
no, mindfulness for sure. That sounds exactly like mindfulness is. So meditation and mindfulness are kind of they're similar, but they're also different. So I talk about mindful living with a lot of my clients, and really that comes down to it goes hand in hand with meditation, but mindfulness is basically just being where you are and observing what you're doing without distractions. So I like to tell people to start in the kitchen. You're washing dishes and putting them in the dishwasher. You're not thinking about what dishes you should buy next, or what your email is going to say later, or what is going on next week, and your plans last night, and your fight you had with your coworker. It's, I'm doing dishes. I'm holding a plate and putting the plate in the dishwasher, and that's it. So you're just observing what you're doing, and it is so straightforward. And I think people are always surprised, like, that's what mindfulness is. And it's not going to be practiced 24 hours a day, because we live in a productive society. We'd never get anything done, right? As a business person, you're kind of always thinking, you're always kind of going. And most highly successful people are. So all highly successful people live a mindful life, whether they know it or not, because they have to get things done. And this idea of multitasking is really just doing several things at once, kind of halfway, right? So doing that one thing, and yes, our minds are meant to kind of go, it is part of our survival as humans, but the idea that a few minutes a day, whatever task you're doing, you can focus on that task at that time, just one thing, and that makes all the difference.
Shift away a little bit from the meditation. I'm sure you talk about that all the time. Let's talk about exercise, fitness, because obviously, I've been on your social media and you are doing some impressive stuff. So tell me a little bit about your fitness regime, shall we say?
Okay, so I do a lot of the stuff that I actually assign clients. I do a lot of strength training. I was a marathoner long ago. I've run 6 marathons, including Boston, but running was really hard on my body after a while. And then when I had kids, I was like, I kind of did like the ultimate thing here, made people. So I'm all set on like proving myself, like I feel like I was always kind of chasing that, like proving my body can do anything. And then I had kids and I said, well, I did the ultimate thing, right? So I was kind of over marathoning, but I teach bar classes several days a week locally. And then mostly I do strength training. I do a lot of HIIT workouts. I try to keep it more low impact, even though I have healthy knees, healthy joints. I never really have any aches or pains, but a lot of the workouts that I assign to my clients are more low impact, but high energy. So I did a workout this morning, just like a leg workout, lower body with weights. And then I always end with a meditation if I can, if I have time. Like today, I was kind of running quick. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do 2 minutes, just a 2 minute meditation, just a body scan to see how I feel and find that mind body connection. But I actually, during the pandemic, took up a lot of walking because I had more time without my commute. So I've just been going for walks every day, which is a great way to kind of do a little bit of cardio. Like it's a fast walk, it's hilly where I live, but also a really nice time to almost do more of a meditative walk. I don't listen to podcasts doing, unfortunately. And sometimes I walk with my husband, but oftentimes I just kind of take a walk by myself and just see the world around me, observe nature, and then just get that quiet time.
On my own programs, the very first habit that I get all of my clients, whether it's in person, online, to do is walk. Not only for your total daily energy expenditure and to improve your knee, but for your mind. And I'll tell people, if you don't just want to go and walk, put in your headphones, listen to a playlist, listen to a podcast, try and take your mind off it, and suddenly it'll fly by. But it's so many people really. We even had a couple of people who actually left the gym for whatever reason because they started to really enjoy their hiking and their walking, and that was all they needed. They were ticking every box there: cardio, respiratory, resistance training, in a sense of, it's coming from the inclines and declines of the
Mm-hmm.
walk. Um, you know, and who am I to say no? You need to get back to the gym and lift weights. No, if that ticks all their boxes for them. So yeah, I've seen that a lot too with walking. But unlike you, I didn't get into walking myself, so maybe that's where I went wrong there because I used work as an excuse, but I could have. What I did do, however, is get into running a little bit. Um, so I'll turn that off now. Just running around my block, it started off, and then I started going further and further, and before you know it, I got a little buzz for it. But then lockdown ended. I was straight back at work. If I've got someone who, a client who is asking me a question now of, how do I use 2021 to really make a change now, adapt a new habit, both mentally and physically, what would be your suggestion? What's the best thing to do right now to plan for 2021? Because you said before you don't start on a Monday. I don't either. Like my wife is just as bad. She'll be like, right, I'm going to get myself sorted. Okay, cool. I'll write you a new program. I'll give you a plan. Yeah, I'll start Monday. It's Thursday.
You have days. You have days to get started. Yeah. I think for 2020, a lot of people, I know when 2020 came, we were like, new decade, new me, a lot of that. So that didn't go as planned. But I think 2021, I know people are wild about the new year. I'm not a big advocate of that because I just think when you're ready for change is when you should do it. So if that's the 4th of January, because that works for you, great. If that's February 1st, it doesn't matter. If it's tomorrow, that's great too. Maybe if it's even tonight. But I think the biggest thing is to make actionable change. So something that you can change. So just adding a walk every day, adding a 3-minute meditation. But I think if people are already willing to make the change, then they know they need to, and people that would be engaged enough to plan it are going to stick with it. You know, I think sometimes people get a little carried away and they'll say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to go vegan all of a sudden. And there's so many changes that it can be a little bit jarring, right? We're creatures of habit. It's how we've survived as long as we have. So I think you don't have to completely change overnight, just small actionable change, and maybe weekly, and just check in with yourself, or if you have a trainer, even better, checking in and determining what you can add next, what you can take away next, to kind of just maintain that lifestyle of wellness. And then as you go forward, it becomes less of a New Year's resolution and just like, this is how my life is lived. And then as you go, maybe 2022 is when it kind of just becomes more of a habit, and it doesn't have to be so much thought and time and energy put into this date I do this and I start. It just, then that's who you are.
I've recently done quite a few videos on my social media of this exact thing, which is, right, that's it. I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to finish all the chocolate left over from Christmas. Got to do that first. Can't let it go to waste. Then I'm going to go straight to the gym on the 4th of January. I'm going to go and do loads of walks. I'm going to order myself a load of protein supplements. I'm going to cut out chocolate completely. No, I'm going to do dry January. Before you know it, you've compiled yourself a list of 12 different things. And then I'm going to meditate. I'm going to go swimming. I'm going to take up a new hobby. And by the time January, the first week, and I say this to people and it makes me laugh, January is the most motivated month of a calendar year. But over here, particularly in the UK, it's also called Blue January, because research shows it's also the most depressing month of the year. So there's the big irony, right? It's the most motivated, but it's also the most depressing. The most depressing because people are still got no money after Christmas. There's nothing to look forward to as much other than. So by the time you get to like week 3 of January, all that's gone. You know. So I agree. I think that people just need to. Sorry, I did turn that off. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to move on to how you actually use this to turn it into a profession. So obviously, I know you were studying meditation for almost 20 years, and of course, you were doing marathons before, so fitness was always there as well. How did you create the two together and turn this into a business, become a coach yourself?
I guess just sheer determination. I did see a need for sure. I think there's a lot of workouts out there, particularly lately, because everything moved online. Suddenly there were a lot of the bigger companies coming up with a program online that they're like, oh, 12-minute workouts, you know. But I did notice so many people and people that I'm around and friends and family that are like, I got in my 12 minutes of fitness and now I can reward myself with, you know, people use food as a reward often. So like, so now I'm gonna have a cupcake and, you know, so I felt like I kind of needed something. There was a space more for a lifestyle change there, which as a trainer, you know, like just going to the gym every day really, I mean, you could spend an hour and a half and 2 hours in the gym every day, lifting weights and walking on the treadmill. But if you don't incorporate health into the remainder of the 22 hours of your day, if you don't sleep well, if you don't drink enough water, if you don't, you know, take the time and energy to prepare meals. And so all of those things need to take place. And I just saw so many things. It was like, this is great. This 2020 has brought us to the year where so many more people have said, I'm going to start working out. I'm going to do these things. But then it was kind of like everybody's trying to shove their workout into this 20-minute window and then drop the weights, you're done. And now I can go about my day. And I just wanted something that kind of created more of a lifestyle and that mind-body connection that really was like, I'm working out not because I hate the way I look, not because I hate the way my body feels, but to feel good, right? Like not punishment, but just to make yourself feel stronger, better, more confident. Particularly for women, often have a problem with that. It's it's more of a lifestyle change. And I saw a lot of it missing with the online things, which I think are wonderful because so many more people are included in workouts and more people are able to with very little equipment at home. But I wanted to be able to find that home workout that you can fit into a busy schedule, but also that would kind of build into more of your lifestyle, which is why I incorporated that mindful living and the meditations in the workouts. I just think you get so much more out of it because even though you still are only giving maybe that 20 minutes that day, it affects that mood. That meditation and the mindful living affects the mood each day and allows you to stick with it longer too. It gives you more focus throughout the day and then throughout your week and throughout the month. And then and if you have actionable goals, once again, then you're able to, hey, I'm going to meditate 3 times this week. You know, I have my clients log their meditation. If they don't like logging, they don't have to log. But a lot of people find that helps with habits. So yeah, I said I think there's a need for this. Like let's do this. So I set myself up very quickly. I was able to actually kind of get everything off the ground with the help of my loving husband in a matter of like 2 months. I had an idea and I ran with it. And like you said, most fitness trainers are pretty action oriented people. So I was like, I have an idea and there's really nothing standing in my way and let's do it. So I was up and running in like 8 weeks.
Very action driven. I tried to go online with my service a couple of times, and I failed a couple of times, and I think you have to learn from those failures. And it took me. I had an idea similar to you, and my idea. I won't give it. No, I'm joking. My idea, because I've been doing this for 3 years ever since, right? So my idea was, how do I was sick of complaining about a lot of diet companies that were just tormenting people, and they were so unethical and against everything that I believed in. So I was always complaining in person sessions. I was already doing classes, and a lot of people saying, if you don't like it, do something about it. Create your own version of the complete opposite. So I actually was listening to a lot of podcasts and John Goodman and different fitness professionals, and it hit me. What if I throw all of my clients into a Facebook group and I deliver my content in my order and I give them my suggestion, um, and let's see what happens. And I got 10 people, and how I did it, I said, look, I've got an idea. If you give me a deposit just to make sure that you see it through, you will get your money back as long as you finish the program. And all I ask for in return is a testimonial, because I'm that confident that this idea is going to work that I will happily give you this for free, but I want to make sure you see it through. 10 people did that. And the transformations were exactly what I knew they were going to be, if not better. But it started from an idea. And much like yourself, I had that up and running in 2 months. The first month I tried it, and even at the time I was kind of winging it a little bit. There was no system in place. And I gave them all the money back. I shared the testimonials. The second group, I got 25 people instant, all paid. I'm like, hang on a minute. Whoa. So, and I've been running that same program ever since, with a lot of new things and new developments since.
Mm-hmm.
I have to adapt with the time, but it sounded very familiar to myself, where I had this idea and I just ran with it, and within a couple of months it took off. And I think your idea sounds fantastic. So you have a few things. What if I was, to send people now to go and check you out? What could they get from you now? What could they go and look at? Is there anything they can read from you or check out?
Yeah, so I actually just published an article in Strong Fitness Magazine. It's online right now. You can access it through strongfitnessmagazine.com, or it's on my Linktree and Instagram. It's also posted on my website, so links are all there. I have a few other articles. That one's actually about mindfulness and strength training, so that one's very specific to fitness, but very cool. I have a couple of other things coming, so it's literally being published like next week. So I'll wait until they're live. But I also have a lot of body scan meditations published on Insight Timer. It's an app. I've actually been using it for years, and it's recently gone very popular because Giselle the supermodels started posting on there, and Russell Brand is on there now. So there's a bunch of us, but there's 10,000 publishers, but you can find my body scan meditations there. And if you don't love the body scan version, I also have something about mindfulness and cell phone use. But if you don't love that, find any meditation instructor on there that you jive with and just listen to it at night and morning. What you can do, sleep meditations, really, really awesome site. I love it. I don't get paid to say that. I've always used it myself for like a decade, and it's free unless you sign up for courses, and then it's still really cheap. It's like $50 a year. Really awesome site. And then if you want to take it a little step further and you're interested in fitness and mindful living and meditation, you can join my program. It's a monthly program. You get everything's on an app. It's very organized. You can also use it on your like a mobile version or on your desktop, but it's basically just full workouts. Some of them range from 20 minutes to 60 minutes. There's always a meditation, rest days worked in. There's plant-based recipes, mindful little reminders. You get a little text on your phone. You can opt out if you don't like, but some people have really liked it. Just to take a few deep breaths happens. You can set it for a certain time at noon if you want, just to remind yourself to kind of take that mindful moment. So it's more of a lifestyle building kit, which is great for January. And people are really loving it so far. We've had a lot of success in the very short time that it's been going. And I put a lot of thought into my workouts. My husband and I both do the workouts ourselves, so we always know exactly where we're going with them. And yeah, it's been really fun, and I'm really enjoying it. And like I said, this is not my day job, so it's kind of more been fun than a business at this point. I have to probably become a little more business minded as I go forward, but right now it's just been a lot of fun.
If people want to go and check out your stuff now, I'm going to post the link in the description of this episode, so they'll be able to head straight over that. You're like myself, you've got a link tree because you have so many different links for different things that you do. I'm the same. I have different programs and podcasts and stuff, and Instagram only lets you post one link, so I'll send everyone straight to that link tree.
Perfect.
But what's coming? What can we get excited for? Obviously with the pandemic, potentially vaccines and stuff making things look a little bit hopeful next year. Obviously this year, you said before, you come into a new decade. Not only is it new year, new me, it's we're in the 20s, and then, well, we know the rest. But hopefully 2021 is looking better for people, touch wood. So what does it look like for you?
I think 2021 is no more day job commute, more time at home, more time with my family, more time to focus on my business and my clients, but also just I think that where the world is going, and so many people that I've spoken to lately, just friends and family and clients, are really looking forward to taking some of the lessons that we've learned from all of this. And then when the world does open back up, fingers crossed, that we all kind of take a greater appreciation for what we have. I know so many people have lost so much, but going forward, that maybe we're all a little more appreciative of what we do have left and what we do have if we've in any way benefited from everybody being home and the time spent at home. And maybe we are able to spend a little more time with family, a little more time preparing meals mindfully and family time together, and just kind of appreciating our other people in our community. And just that outdoor time has been great for my family, for myself and my kids. And I know so many people have said, I went on a hike for the first time in a decade. And I'm like, well, we live in a place that's full of hiking trails and all. And so many people are experiencing really the outdoors for the first time, even though we're entering the very cold winter of the East Coast in the United States. So many people are like, I got snowshoes, I'm bundling up and going outside, like doing it anyway. So maybe a little more appreciation for the simple things. Like, we don't need to be attached to our laptops and our iPhones as much. Maybe we just have that time going forward where we really focus on each other and nature and relationships that we have.
Okay, so I will be posting everything, as I said, in the description. I'll be checking everything out myself because it sounds fantastic. Cool. So you may even have a client in me in the next year, because, like I said, I love meditation. I think what I need to do is teach myself how to really do it, how to fit it into my life in a habit. Because everyone loves the idea of it, but I guess a lot of the, and combining it with physical fitness as well, it sounds like the perfect cocktail for a healthy 2021.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thanks for coming on, C, and I will hopefully, I wish you the best happy new year for next year. Touch wood, it will be.
Happy New Year.
And hopefully everything goes fantastic for you. And I will look forward to seeing what you've got coming out.
Cool. Thanks so much.